Now at 5, area county health departments adjust as the governors of Missouri and Kansas announce an end to the COVID emergency.
President Biden is hoping to fight rising gas prices by releasing oil from the nation's strategic reserve. I'm Naomi Ruckham with why some experts are questioning the move.
And we meet a little girl benefiting from a high-tech surgical device.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
County health departments adjust for a new role as Missouri's governor announces an end to the COVID-19 pandemic emergency in the Show Me state. This is KOIM News at 5. Starting tomorrow, the state will enter an endemic approach to COVID-19. In Newton County, their health department has been preparing for this for a while as they notice case numbers continue to drop. They say the biggest change to come is contact tracing for the state.
We're still going to try to gather information as to how many new cases we have per day and try to determine how many active cases we may have at any given time. But we're not going to do so much of the contact tracing, and now it'll give us time to actually go and get our records together.
COVID-19 is still expected to circulate within communities, so it'll be treated as an endemic like the flu. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly today announced Kansas will move to an endemic response to COVID. Starting tomorrow, the Kansas Department of Health and Environment will work with local health departments on their endemic plan. It'll include changes like moving treatment options from public health entities back to healthcare providers and reducing public case reporting to once a week. As of this morning, Ascension Via Christi Hospital in Pittsburgh has 0 COVID patients. At the height of the pandemic, 80% of patients in the hospital were COVID patients. Back in November, the hospital took down the plastic and special markings separating its COVID ward from the rest of the facility. However, the hospital stands ready to take COVID patients at any time. We're going to hear from the hospital's director of nursing tonight at 6. Tomorrow marks the beginning of Sexual Assault Awareness Month. So today, sexual assault nurse examiners at Freeman Health System are putting out some facts and prevention tips. They say data shows rape and sexual assault are the most underreported crimes in the U.S. Some victims hesitate to talk about the crime.
She was terribly embarrassed. Hey, don't be. This is what happened to you is not your fault. The person who did this to you is the aggressor. They're the one that, it was criminal.
The theme for this year's Sexual Assault Awareness Month is building safe online spaces together. But the weather's been all over the place the last couple of days. Doug Heddy.
Yeah, it really has. Today we had periods of snow showers across the region mixed in with some rain. We had about a 3 or 4 hour period of those rotating through the region. These are gone now. We still have the clouds. Clouds are breaking up in our western counties, so we're actually going to clear out here pretty quickly as we go through the evening hours. All the rain, snow is out of here, and then we have clear skies to our west, and that's kind of our gap of weather that we are going to pick up as we head into the daytime hours tomorrow. It is cold. Upper 30s in Missouri. You do climb into lower 40s once you get into our western counties. Through the evening hours, we're going to slide back through the 30s. Of course, we're going to clear out, but a cold night tonight, upper 20s to lower 30s, so a pretty good freeze and frost across the region. We're going to look at the next few days here in just a bit.
See you then. Nationwide, Americans are paying an average of $4.22 for a gallon of gas. That's according to AAA. Today, President Biden has ordered the release of 1 million barrels of oil per day from the nation's Strategic Petroleum Reserve. It'll be the largest release of oil reserves in history. And the president says it could bring down the price of gas per gallon by 10 to 35 cents. Naomi Ruckham reports.
President Biden says he will put 1 million additional barrels of oil on the market every day for the next 6 months, all of it coming from the nation's Strategic Petroleum Reserve.
This is a wartime bridge to increase oil supply until production ramps up later this year.
The president wants to get U.S. oil and gas companies producing more. And to turn up the pressure, he's also calling on Congress to impose fees on those companies for wells on public lands that aren't getting used.
No American company should take advantage of a pandemic or Vladimir Putin's actions to enrich themselves at the expense of American families.
Drivers have also been paying more for gas, with global supply impacted by steep sanctions on Russia for its war in Ukraine. The pandemic and efforts to move toward greener energy have meant less oil on the market. Kyle Bowles owns an ice cream truck business in Richmond, Virginia, and his trucks run off both unleaded and diesel gas.
In a word, it's brutal, truthfully. A year ago, the prices were $2 less on each one.
This new oil reserve release will begin in May, increasing domestic supply. But experts say it will also bring oil reserve levels to lows not seen in decades. Patrick DeHaan is the chief petroleum analyst for Gas Buddy, the app that helps drivers find the cheapest gas.
Are we going to put ourselves more at risk? This could push up prices long term because the nation has no relief valve for if there are future problems.
The Biden administration says it will replenish the Strategic Petroleum Reserve when prices come down, but other recent releases haven't done much to move the needle on prices. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News, New York.
President Biden also ordered the Department of Defense to secure American production of minerals and materials used for large capacity batteries. It's part of the effort to reduce reliance on China for those materials that can help the country move toward greener energy. Jared Kushner, a presidential advisor to his father-in-law, President Donald Trump, sat for a virtual hearing with the committee investigating the January 6th assault on the U.S. Capitol. Kushner was not in the country on the day of the attack, but some committee members believe Kushner still had some knowledge about the plans surrounding that day. The committee is negotiating with Kushner's wife, Ivanka Trump, for her testimony. Russia is still shelling Ukraine just 2 days after promising to fundamentally cut back operations in some areas. NATO says Russia has repeatedly lied about its intentions and believes Russia is regrouping and resupplying its troops ahead of another offensive. In Russia, the Kremlin is expressing concern and regret over White House claims that President Putin is being misinformed about how badly the war effort is going. A little bit later, tech encouraging people to buckle up.
A new report says changes in seatbelt technology could save up to 1,500 lives a year. I'm Laura Podesta, and I'll tell you what it is.
But first, a child benefiting from a high-tech advance in surgery. That's next in Health Watch. Topping today's Health Watch, a new review of data finds increased lung cancer screenings have saved an estimated 10,000 lives since 2014. Researchers found the introduction of screenings was associated with more patients being diagnosed early and improved survival. Researchers say those benefits did not extend to patients living in low-income areas or to racial minority groups, demonstrating the need to increase access to screenings. A joint study at Boston Children's Hospital and the CDC finds COVID vaccinations for children ages 5 to 11 cut Omicron hospitalizations by 68%. Overall, researchers found from July 2021 to February of 2022, 88% of patients hospitalized with COVID-19 were unvaccinated, and 25% in that group had critical illness requiring life-supporting interventions. New technology has produced a device that can help with such procedures as spinal, cardiac, reconstructive surgery, even neurosurgery, and has helped give a young child a promising future. It's a walk down the hall for 5-year-old Raven's weekly occupational therapy. And one of today's activities is using her left hand to make cookies.
Oh, that was a good smash with Lefty.
It all started after Raven's parents noticed weakness and a lack of mobility in her left side. So Raven was sent to a neurologist who ordered an MRI. The results, shocking. A golf ball-sized tumor pressing on the right side of her brain.
And it was just like complete shock, like a deer in headlights, and I was just like, what?
Within 24 hours, Raven was undergoing brain surgery at Akron Children's Hospital.
I was very nervous and like not knowing what was going to happen.
Doctors removed the benign tumor, and the job was easier thanks to the use of an exoscope. It's a high-def video telescope where doctors wear 3D glasses and look at large screens instead of looking through heavy magnifying glasses with a light on top.
And the beauty of that technology is that you are not then confined to standing or sitting in certain positions in the operating room for hours at a time.
Raven will continue to learn to regain strength on her left side and hopefully have fun while she's doing it. An exoscope costs $400,000. That's about $150,000 more than the latest traditional microscopes used for surgery. Akron Children's is the only independent children's hospital in the country to use one. A new study at Iowa State University finds 30 minutes of exercise can reduce symptoms of depression for 75 minutes after a workout. Researchers say the benefit waned over time, but believe this finding can help people with depression accomplish psychologically or cognitively demanding tasks immediately after exercise. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, car technology intended to get more people to buckle up.
Plus, it looks like sunshine's going to return, but for how long? We're going to check that out coming up. Well, it turned out to be kind of a crummy day for us today. The clouds, we had snow showers mixed in with rain at times from the late morning into the early afternoon. We are going to clear out as we go through the overnight hours tonight. It is going to be cold temperatures below freezing. Of course, we're almost into April, so we don't want to freeze anymore, but we are going to see a pretty good freeze for us tonight. Thunderstorms back in tomorrow night. Majority of the weekend looks pretty good. Thunderstorms roll back in late Sunday into Monday. Of course, you can get my long-range forecast on my month-long blog. That is KOAMnewsnow.com. Cloudy skies still. This is Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri, right on the west side. Temperature's cold. We're in the 30s on the Missouri side, and then you do approach the lower 40s once you get into our farther western counties where the clouds are breaking up and we're starting to see a little bit of sunshine. It's also windy. We got the northwesterly winds at about 10 to 20 gusts, have been a little bit higher than that. 7th and range line, if you look off toward the west, you can see the clouds starting to break. It's kind of gloomy. Right now we're sitting at about 38 degrees west, northwesterly winds at about 15 or so. Humidity is at 73%. Now, as we go through the rest of the evening hours, we're going to kind of hold 40, lower 40s, and then we'll slide back through the 30s. Cold night, upper 20s, north of I-44, and then once you get into the metro and south, temperatures kind of right around freezing. Look at the bands of light snow mixed in with the rain. Rotate through. Of course, it didn't stick. We still have the clouds, but our western counties starting to see the clouds break up. So we're going to clear out over the next few hours. This wave heading out of here, here's our little gap of nice weather, and then this next little wave will start to rotate in as we head into tomorrow night and Saturday morning. For us tonight, cold. We drop back 31, 32 degrees for most of us. Mostly sunny in the morning, then we get some mid and upper level clouds in here during the afternoon on Friday, but temperature is great. We start at 31, 58 by noon. High temp is 64. South winds, not too windy, at about 5 to 10. Clouds increase tomorrow evening. Scattered showers get in here mid to late evening. Some thunderstorms after midnight. Nothing too strong, nothing severe, so we don't have to worry about that. And then most of the rain's out of here by Saturday morning. So that's good. Most of Saturday looks great. We get mostly sunny skies right back up into the mid 60s for highs. So Saturday looks pretty good. Saturday evening and then into Sunday morning, also not too bad. Then we got to watch our next system. So majority of Sunday looks good, but late Sunday, so we're looking at 9:30, showers, thunderstorms. Some of these could be a little stronger. They don't look severe. And then just rain on Monday. We'll get back to the clouds, showers sticking around for Monday. In fact, we're going to have rain chances almost each and every day. 64 tomorrow, thunderstorms tomorrow night, and then late Sunday. But everything in between, which is about 80% of the weekend, looks good. Temperatures into the 60s to 71 Saturday. Mainly 60s next week, but kind of dodging showers and thunderstorms.
Yeah, you see all those raindrops on the graphic and you think it's disastrous.
Yeah.
But most of the weekend looking good.
Looking good.
All right. Thanks, Doug. Coming up, the latest consumer spending numbers. First, though, we honor a local World War II veteran. Carthage native Lloyd Isbell served in the U.S. Army from 1942 to 45. His medals include a Purple Heart, and we're proud to salute Private First Class Lloyd Isbell, a four-state hero. Topping today's Consumer Watch, Americans kept a tighter grip on their wallets in February. According to the Commerce Department, personal spending inched up 0.2%. Incomes rose 0.5%, but Americans were more judicious with their spending in the face of rising inflation. More Americans signed up for unemployment benefits last week. According to the Labor Department, first-time filings for weekly jobless claims rose by 14,000 to 202,000. This marks the first increase in 3 weeks as some employers work to hold on to employees amid a tight labor market. Seatbelts save lives, and new cars are equipped with alerts for drivers and passengers to buckle up. But a new report finds many of those alerts are not loud or long enough. Laura Podesta reports.
In this crash test video, the driver is wearing a seatbelt, but the backseat passenger is not and slams into the front seat, then is tossed to the roof. Government data shows in 2019, almost half of people killed in car accidents were not wearing a seatbelt.
The seatbelt is the most important safety feature that a vehicle has.
David Harkey is the president of the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety and says under current federal standards, seatbelt reminders only need to last a few seconds.
Our goal is to go well beyond the federal standards. We want to push that audible and visual signal to last 90 seconds and for it to be loud enough, let's call it a more annoying warning, that would get drivers to buckle up their seatbelt.
The IIHS also wants a visual reminder for backseat passengers. With that criteria in mind, the group tested 26 SUVs and only 2, the Subaru Forester and Subaru Ascent, received a good rating. 12 others were given an acceptable or marginal grade.
And almost half get a poor rating.
IIHS research shows persistent alerts can increase seatbelt use up to 34%.
Most of the changes that we're talking about with making these audible changes is software. And so it's not a hardware change, and so we think most of the automakers will be able to make this change quickly.
Harkey says those changes could save around 1,500 lives a year. Laura Podesta, CBS News, New York.
And no pooch, no show. According to a new OnePoll survey, 6 in 10 pet owners have dropped a return to office job because their furry friend couldn't tag along. And 7 in 10 said they would take a pay cut if it meant a green light for their pet to come to work with them. Over the past 2 years, more than half said their dog or cat raised their on-the-clock productivity, and 2/3 credited their pet's presence for improving relationships at work. A final check of the forecast up next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, how much could the president's actions actually lower gasoline prices? Then on KOAM News at 6, Bronte Suransky looks at how the responsibility of area county health departments will change as COVID cases drop. Plus, a Southwest Missouri kids campaign to get strawberry milk back into the school district. And we're going to check out the Pitt State disc golf team preparing to compete in the College National Championships. Stay with us. CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin today sent 5 more space tourists and an employee on a once-in-a-lifetime adventure to the edge of space, about 66 miles up. On board for that 10-minute flight, an investor, a real estate veteran, and his wife, a University of North Carolina professor, a space entrepreneur, and the spacecraft's designer, Gary Lay. It was Blue Origin's 4th crewed space flight. The cost of a seat, it's believed to be about $500,000 or so, maybe a bit more than that. In case you're in the market, so you should know.
$500,000 for 10 minutes, huh?
66 miles up and down.
Wow.
Yeah. But it's becoming more and more routine now.
It is.
Makes it into the bottom of a newscast.
Yeah, there you go.
The weather.
All right, we are going to be cold tonight. Temperatures are going to back down 31, 32 degrees. So we are going to have a freeze. So if you put plants outside yet, bring them in or cover them up. 64 tomorrow, partly sunny, some thunderstorms by tomorrow night.
That's why I haven't put the plants out just yet. I hope
there
too
you
soon
go.
though. Thanks for joining us. CBS Evening News is next. We'll see you right back here at 6. Let's make it a great evening.